Hi, I'm Kathleen Reale, founder of BeFreeForMe.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make gluten-free Thanksgiving stuffing. The ingredients we need to make this gluten-free stuffing is 4 cups of gluten-free breadcrumbs, and I got those by chopping up into 1-inch cubes some old gluten-free bread heels, some old muffins that I had that I wasn't that crazy about. So I just kind of store them all in a plastic bag in my freezer, and I'm ready to make the stuffing. I'm ready to go. Also, you need 2/3 of a stick of butter, plus a little bit extra to grease the baking pan, 1/3 of a cup of chopped onions, 1/2 cup of chopped celery, and I like to add in some of those little green leafy parts on the celery, salt and pepper to taste, 1/2 pound of sweet Italian sausage, and I already have that all cooked up right now, 2 eggs, and I have those well beaten, 1 teaspoon of ground sage, 1/2 teaspoon of poultry seasoning, and last ingredient is chicken broth. And I say 1 to 2 cups because you might need a little bit more, you might need a little bit less, depending on what kind of bread you use and how it soaks up the chicken broth. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to melt the butter into the frying pan until it's nice and melted down. You don't want to cook it too much, you don't want it brown, so I'm going to reduce the heat just a little bit to low. And what you're going to do is you're going to add in the chopped onions and chopped celery, blend that into the saute pan with some butter. Now in this stuffing recipe, the gluten-free stuffing that we're making today, I added sausage. If you're a vegetarian or don't want to add sausage, that's fine. And you're going to cook this probably, I don't know, 10 minutes or so until the onions and the celery are lightly or just slightly softened, I guess you could say. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave this sauteing the celery and the onions in the butter. We're going to go over and prepare the rest of the recipe when this is cooking, and we'll be back over to this in a bit once it's done. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to combine the gluten-free bread cubes. You can see here I have different types of bread. I have the white bread, I have some multigrain in there, some muffin. So I like a nice assortment. It kind of makes the stuffing look better and taste a little bit more diversified, I guess you could say. We're going to add in a little bit of pepper, some salt to taste. I'm using sea salt, it's really flavorful. The teaspoon of ground sage and 1/2 teaspoon of poultry seasoning. Now we're going to blend this all up with the egg, and this is 2 eggs that are beaten. That looks good. I'm going to toss it around a little bit. Next, like I said, I'm using sausage in this recipe. You don't have to. I like it. I think it gives it a nice flavor. So we added in the 1 pound of sweet Italian sausage, ground sausage that I cooked up in the fry pan. So next, we're going to go check on the sauteing celery and onions and see how they're going. Oh, and they're done. They're cooked absolutely perfect. The sauteed onions and celery. So we're going to add them to the bread cube mixture. And again, we're going to toss it. We're just trying to get the breadcrumbs really coated with the butter and with the egg mixture. And it will make it bake up a little bit nicer. It's going to get nice and crispy on the outside, nice and soft on the inside, those bread cubes. Now, what we want to do with the chicken broth is we want to add just a little bit of chicken broth. Now this mixture right here looks very moist, so we don't need that much. But like I said, if you use different types of gluten-free bread, it might be a little bit drier than others. So have a little bit of chicken broth on hand to just mix in if needed. If you do end up cooking this a little bit too long, don't fret. Just take it out of the oven, add a little bit of chicken broth, and toss it back in for a couple of minutes, and your guests will never know. I think we're done. We're ready to bake it. 325 to 30 minutes. Take out of the oven and cook 5 more minutes uncovered. And that's how to make gluten-free stuffing for your Thanksgiving table. I'm Kathleen Reale, founder of BeFreeForMe.com, your source for saving, sampling, and sharing gluten and allergen-free.